Hi guys, and welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the GTA 6 map and some of the updates it's had over the past few weeks. So one of the latest updates we have is that the actual size of the map has increased from 16 by 16k to 18 by 18k to accommodate for new landmasses. And of course there's a whole load of other updates which will be on the screen right now so you can check it out. Obviously as well, I will link this map in the description below so you can go and check it out. So some things I want to talk about in this is, firstly, for those that are new to seeing the GTA 6 map, where does this information come from and how can we verify its authenticity? Well, this is a community project, so it's put together by GTA 6 fans and people that have delved into the leaks. So the leaks back in 2022 were probably the biggest gaming leaks in history. So basically what happened was Rockstar Games' Slack channel, their internal messaging platform, was hacked and a large amount of videos of gameplay were released out to the public. Now within those gameplay clips there were coordinates, which is what you can see here. The coordinates line up with different reference points in the map, so people were able to kind of plot different things that they could see from the leaks on certain grid references to get an overall scale. Now the scale of this map was based on some of the information we had from the leaks, from the furthest point in one direction to the furthest point in another direction. We don't really have too much information about what happened at the top of the map, and of course we've only got limited information about stuff that happened at the bottom of the map. But overall this gives a rough size and scale to the map, and of course within those leaked clips there were certain events and things that happened, and they're all plotted on the map here. And of course within those leaks there were certain things that happened and they all had waypoints. So there's certain areas of the map here that we can locate to the leaks, but also since the release of the trailer we're also able to determine certain areas and features that we'll see in the map. And of course there's been a few videos about the map as new updates have come out, but in this video I want to talk about a few things that I'm particularly interested in. But before we carry on with today's video, I've launched a Patreon account. Now, I don't want to paywall content from you guys. I want you guys to always be able to access my content for free on YouTube. However, I can't post videos as soon as I've finished editing them on YouTube. For example, if I post a video at like 10 AM in the UK, most of my audience being in the US won't see the video for a few hours. So that tells the YouTube algorithm that because people aren't awake, they don't want to see it, and the video kind of gets buried. So I have to schedule my videos at certain points throughout the week to make sure they get views. With Patreon, it means I can give you guys videos earlier without having to worry about if the video is going to perform well, because obviously being a gaming channel, there's not really much money in it. It's about $2 per 1,000 views on a good day. I've had some very bad days recently, but it allows me to still make money from the content, but of course you guys can access the content earlier, and it's only $3 a month. There's also a tier for $5 a month where I'll post some behind the scenes content, but you won't be missing out by not joining the Patreon. All of the key Grand Theft Auto content will all be on YouTube, and stuff on Patreon will just be waffle and behind the scenes nonsense. So one of the key areas of the map that I'm really interested in is the Vice City International Airport. Now previously in every other Grand Theft Auto game, airports have been very simplistic in the sense that you can climb a perimeter fence, you can steal a plane, you can get a wanted level, and you can fly away. I'm hoping that Rockstar Games will do something a bit more with the airport and make it a little bit more interesting in terms of implementing realism without being tedious. So for example, it would be cool if we could go into the airport, into like the departures lounge or the arrivals lounge, whatever it might be, and actually interact with that environment. Maybe have to have like a passport or ID check when boarding a plane, or if you've previously been wanted, trying to fly somewhere in an airplane might call the police after you, or might get you a wanted level again. Now there's a very fine line between realism and fun, and whilst it would be really cool to do all of that stuff, like in real time having to do all of that stuff just because you want to fly a plane might be a bit annoying. So I think there's probably a way that Rockstar could implement it without it being too tedious, maybe give us options to skip all of that. But I do see both sides of the fence here. Some people want realism, some people just want a fun action game, so I can understand both points. In the trailer we saw the Vice sign, which was at the end of the runway, at the end of the main runway, and that of course overlooks the rest of Vice City and Vice Beach. Next I want to talk about Vice Beach. So Vice Beach in GTA Vice City was, in my opinion, kind of small and there wasn't really too much going on. I feel like this is quite a small area. Now obviously we know the map is absolutely huge, it's about twice the size of the GTA 5 map, but it would be cool if there was a lot more going on in this general vicinity. My overall thoughts on this is I feel like this needs to have a bit more going for it. It was never a boring area, but to be honest, all the interesting stuff appears to be located to this strip. Now, having never been to this actual strip in real life, I'm not too clued up on what really goes on back here other than what I've seen from GTA Vice City, but it felt like in GTA Vice City a lot of this was pointless other than having like a strip club, and of course there was a club somewhere up here, around here somewhere. It didn't feel like there was too much going on, so it'll be really interesting to see how they utilize this area so we don't have a load of action happening here and then nothing happening here. Obviously I know we're in safe hands, Rockstar aren't going to make it boring, but it's just one of the questions I've got. The next big kind of wonder I have, and I'll be interested to hear what your thoughts are. So obviously we have the Fairyland Forest, which is linked to Disney World, and there's some theories about NASA being based at the top of the map up here, but there's a lot of blank space up here, which would be really interesting to see what they do with. Now I've spoken before about a theory I have that maybe we're going to have like a weird dead-end border at the top of the map, which will allow them to do map expansions in the future. If the game comes as just an island, I'm not going to be as happy as I would as if we got a blank border, because if we got a blank border that we weren't able to cross, or whatever happened when we crossed it, even if it's not realistic, even if our character just miraculously dies when they go over the border, that makes it very clear that Rockstar would be looking at doing map expansions in the future. However, if it's just an island, that makes it a little bit more difficult to do. Yes, they could have you flying to another location or another island, but it would still be really interesting to have the option to build upon this map in the future, especially if Rockstar are doing the same thing they did with Grand Theft Auto 5 and making this game last 10 plus years, well 12 years at the time of GTA 6 coming out. Now the next thing I want to talk about is this whole area here in the middle of the map. Now I kind of like the idea that we've got a population happening here and a population happening here, because in GTA 5 with everything happening at the bottom of the map, there was no reason to go up to the top of the map, because there was nothing really there other than the odd mission here or there with Trevor, or maybe in online you want to go for a drive, but predominantly the top half of the map is never really used. So having a city here and like a smaller town slash very small city on this side, there is a reason to traverse the map and go across it, which means especially in online there will be a lot more people doing more things around the map. You will be able to travel between this place and that place and see stuff happening around here, because it's going to be a common commuting path. And the same thing down here, for example, we've got Hamlet and we've got like a small little prison here, correctional facility, which we believe to be the correctional facility that we saw in the trailer. It's quite nice because it means going down to the Grass River side of the map, there's more reason to go from Vice Beach down to the bottom of the map. And that's something that I'm really excited about, because sometimes playing online you'd have everyone in GTA 5 just condensed to like the same 10 square kilometers of the map, whereas in this, online's going to feel a lot more empty, which then kind of brings me on to the next point, is how many people are we going to have been able to play online together? Like, leaks have suggested that it's going to be, 28 plus 2 spectators, or 30, somewhere around that ballpark figure. Now next we have the Vice City metro station. Now public transport has been a part of every single Grand Theft Auto, but it's never been a major part of Grand Theft Auto. With the metro station in Vice City, I feel like this is going to become a more integral part to traversing the map. The only thing I would say is from this map, it doesn't really show that it covers a large part of the map. It seems like a very small area. It would be really cool having some way just to like board a train or a metro in Vice City and be able to go over to Port Gellhorn. But once again, that may be the case, or maybe we'll be able to jump in a cab, an Uber, whatever it might be, to do that. And tomorrow's video is actually going to be a deep dive into this. I've done like a whole report on every single form of public transport we've had in previous GTAs and what we might expect to see from GTA 6. But public transport has always felt like it didn't really add any value to the game. It was just something there for the sake of realism, where it would be cool if public transport allowed us to do things within the map that maybe wouldn't otherwise be explorable, or maybe a Strangers and Freaks mission happens on public transport, because that's usually where you meet a lot of strangers and freaks. I've had some weird experience on trains myself. I think this would be really cool to see how that's implemented. So the next thing is the stadium. So in GTA Vice City we had like racing that we could do in the stadium. We could also go and see live music like Phil Collins, for example. I would really like the introduction of maybe a racetrack to do the racing in. Now there's been a few different theories and a few different versions of this map that have shown like racetracks over this side of the map, racetracks over the other side of the map. We don't really know where that could be, or if it even will be a part of the map. But this is just my personal speculation and hoping. I would love, absolutely love, to have a proper racetrack or even a NASCAR track in this map somewhere. It would make racing and the automotive side of Grand Theft Auto a lot more interesting. Next is the lighthouse. So the lighthouse was a part of the GTA Vice City map that really stood out, because it didn't really serve much purpose in the context of the game, but it was a really cool thing to have, and it just made that map a little bit different. And obviously it wasn't a massive difference, but any little difference that can be introduced to a GTA map might become legendary at some point for some reason. So I think having a lighthouse that maybe has like some sort of mythology around it about like sailors or like people lost at sea or something, especially as this area here is pretty much the Bermuda Triangle, it'd be really cool to see some form of implementation of this. Next we have Gator Keys. Now Gator Keys I'm really excited to see in the game, because these little islands will make the game feel like more tropical, more of a paradise. It will give a complete contrast to the bustling city, and this is the part of the map where I feel like we might have the most Easter eggs and weird things going on. Of course, we will also have that in Grass Rivers, but I think being able to have all these explorable islands, especially with how heavily boats are going to influence the game, as we saw from the trailer, there were so many boats. So having a core emphasis on boats and these islands here, I reckon there's going to be a lot that goes on this side of the map that maybe we don't realise the importance of yet, but when the game comes out, this will become a really key area of the map. Now, Vice City Port, now this is something that I was really excited about from the trailer. So from the trailer we had speedboats coming up here, and of course we could see container ships here. Now, for those that haven't watched my GTA boats video, I am a huge boat nerd. Like, I love boats so much. What a nerd, what a virgin. But the ability to have like cruise ships and big container ships and potentially even be able to drive them makes this a really important part of the map. Imagine in GTA Online people are stealing cruise ships or like container ships or super yachts and you're having shootouts on them and stuff like that. This will be like a big central hub for mooring up boats and having a really cool and engaging experience. This will be a key part of that. So yeah, of course there's a lot more to unpack here. I have done a lot of other videos about this. I've explained a few more things in a bit more detail, but this is kind of a little bit of an update on my thoughts after some information has been added and some of my key thoughts and ideas about what we've seen from this mapping project so far. So if you did enjoy today's video, please do consider liking and subscribing. Any support you can give the channel is massively appreciated. And if you want to see videos early, my Patreon is linked down below. Thank you all for watching today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one.